I just love you so much. Let's get a good face shot. Who's that? Who's that? Who's that in there? Who's that? Love you.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Shelly. I'm a 3rd grade teacher in Northern California. I posted a photo on my Instagram, which is the same handle, @EarlyAdventures, letting you guys know that I was going to be filming a Q&A and to ask me anything that your heart desires. So today I am here to film that for you. I recently got a boom in subscribership here on YouTube, so I figured this is a chance for you to get to know me a little bit better and you can get some of your questions answered. I do get a lot of the same questions, so I'm really happy that I'm taking the time to sit down and answer some of those for you. So I am going to be looking at my phone, looking at the Instagram post, and reading through as many of these as I can. Now, at this moment, there are 156 comments. So I'm not going to be getting to all of the questions. I'm really sorry. So if I don't get to your question, go ahead and leave it in the comments. And then when I sit down to start looking at comments, I will try to answer it there. So I'm just going to get started. Grab a glass of wine or a snack or something because I feel like this might get a little bit long. We'll see what I can get through. Okay, so this question I got asked quite a bit. And that's what made you realize that you want to be a teacher. I get asked this all the time. I do have a video all about like my teaching story and my whole journey, how I kind of came to where I am now. But basically, I kind of always knew that I wanted to be a teacher, but I didn't really accept it. I always played school and things like that. And I would literally make like fake homework for my imaginary class. And so I knew that it was something I always wanted to do. But I think the pressure of like society and just like everyone, I don't know, there was just like kind of a stigma around teaching, like you don't make a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. I think there was just like, I don't know, just that pressure that teaching wasn't good enough, but I've obviously come to find out that that is not true. I was on one of my travels and I literally just had an epiphany. I was like, you were meant to teach? I actually met a kid down in Guatemala and I had a conversation with him, and I don't know, that was just like the eye opener that I needed. As soon as it hit me, I came back and I started going through the credential program. What did you find the most challenging about getting your credentials or going through school in general? I think the most challenging part was the PACT, which is like the end assessment, if you will. Every credential program does a little bit differently, but it was just a lot of work. And that was really the most challenging part. I didn't think my program was hard by any means. It's just a lot of work, you know what I mean? So yeah, I guess that was the most challenging. What does your reading/math block look like? Okay, so for reading, I do a whole group chunk, and it's usually about 30 to 40 minutes of whole group reading. And then we go to recess, we come back, and I have 45 minutes. So we do 45 minutes of centers. And I do that because I have a wide range of reading levels in my class, so it makes it really easy for me to differentiate and pull small groups. So the stations as of right now, I might tweak it, are guided reading, which is Back With Me, technology. So there are a couple programs that we use to go along with reading. There's a activity of the day, and that usually ranges from like writing activities, vocabulary activities, or something like that, and then silent reading. And that's our center block. It's easy for me and it works. If you have any other center ideas, leave them down below. And then math, this year I do it first thing in the morning. So they come in and they have like a math workshop binder. I got this whole pack from Core Inspiration from Teachers Pay Teachers. I will link it down below. So basically they do a math warm up. Then we break, we go to morning meeting, and then we do math. I teach like a 15-minute lesson. They do at your seat. I'm lucky enough to have support during that time, so my resource teacher will pull my kids that need to reteach, and then we usually do some kind of hands-on activity as well. So that's how that runs in my class. I feel like I'm talking fast. What's new? Do you want kids, and how many and when? Yes, we want kids. We want 2 kids. When? We keep going back and forth. We just got a dog. We just moved. We just got married in May. We had like all the major life events happen within like 3 months. So we just kind of want to chill and like enjoy each other for now. If it were to happen, we would obviously be so excited, but we aren't planning on it anytime soon. Maybe in a couple years. How do you come up with lesson plans? This is a great question because I had that question a lot when I was a new teacher. I mean, was a new teacher, my first year of teaching. I'm still a new teacher. And I'm still figuring this one out, to be honest with you. Obviously, you're given your curriculum for your district, and I'm learning that I'm not loving any of the curriculum that my district uses. So I look to social media. I look to Instagram and YouTube, and I I get inspiration from other teachers. Teachers Pay Teachers is huge. If you don't have an account, stop this video, go sign up. It's literally the best thing. It's just, I use a lot of stuff from Teachers Pay Teachers. What was your first job? If you could change the grade you teach, what grade level would you want to teach? My very first job, I guess technically was working at a daycare because I was like under 15. So my first like real job was Starbucks. And then if I could change the grade I teach, what grade level? If I could change the grade, I really like third grade, to be honest with you. I would be happy anywhere in like third, fourth, fifth, sixth. I just prefer the older kids. That's just my jam. If that's not your journey, no worries, but I don't think I could go lower than third. What template do you use for lesson plans? I don't really use a template, and I don't really like lesson plan. I just have my planner and I write what I'm gonna do for the day. We don't have to turn in lesson plans to our principal or anything, so I don't really like plan. What is an IB school? Okay, I get this question all the time. So IB stands for International Baccalaureate. I'm gonna do this really quickly, and since we are in elementary school, we follow the PYP, Primary Years Program. I highly recommend you Google it and read all about it, but essentially, it's a philosophy of teaching. In short, it's kind of getting the kids to think internationally, globally minded, to get them to take action in their communities. There are 6 transdisciplinary units that we hit throughout the year, and we teach through common concepts. Again, I highly recommend you Google it. I'm still learning a ton, so no, I don't want to do a video on what IB is because I'm still learning. I don't feel confident enough to explain it. So for example, one of our units is how we organize ourselves. So we try and bring that in math and reading and writing, and we just try and teach very transdisciplinary. So that's just in short what IB is. What is your best advice for college education majors going through observation hours / student teaching? So I didn't major in education in college, I majored in kinesiology. So I don't really have any advice for education majors, but student teaching, I did a whole video on tips for student teachers. I highly recommend you check that out. Basically, my biggest advice is to just get as much out of it as you possibly can. You are there to observe and to learn and to ask questions. So use that time to get that done, because once you're done with student teaching, like boom, you're in your own classroom, and it's scary, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little scary. So make sure you get all your questions answered when you're student teaching. What is your favorite subject to teach? I really like to teach math. I also am finding that I like to teach writing. It's probably where I struggle the most as far as giving instruction, but I enjoy it. I don't know, it's exciting to hear kids' voice, you know what I mean? How large is the school district you work in? How many grade level teachers do they have per grade? So my school district is pretty large. I do not know the amount of schools, but I do know it stretches across several cities, so or several towns, I guess. So it's a large school district. At my school, we have about 3 teachers for each grade. 2 in 5th grade, 3 everywhere else. How do you balance time between school and life outside of school? How much do you bring home every night, week? Okay, if you've been here for a while, you know I'm like super passionate about this. I think balance is everything. I do not bring work home. I won't do it. If I can't get it done in the classroom, then that's okay. You have to train yourself to turn your teacher brain off. It's really hard, but you have to do it to keep yourself sane. When I leave, I am no longer a teacher. I am a wife. I am me. I spend time taking care of myself and my family, and that's just what works for me. Also, I get to school really early in the morning as opposed to staying late because my brain turns off in the afternoon and I'm just like done. So I don't know what else to say other than just set parameters for yourself and just make it a priority. Make yourself a priority, because you will go crazy in this profession if you do not balance school and personal life. Also, just really maintain those relationships. Keep your friends and your family close because you're gonna need them a lot, I promise. So just take the time to invest in yourself and in your family and your friends. What grade did you picture yourself teaching? I thought I was gonna teach 5th grade. I think still that's like maybe my dream grade. I say that, but I really love 3rd grade. But I always thought that I was gonna be teaching 5th grade. I don't know why, it's just what I was thinking. When you and your husband are ready to have kids, will you continue teaching? This is a good question, and I don't know. I hope so. However, I don't think that's a question I can answer until I'm in that position. I really don't know. I think that I will take as much time as I can to be with my baby, depending on when he or she shows up. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So a lot of these are like repeat questions, so I'm just kind of scrolling through, sorry. What sort of homework do you give your third graders? I'm a new third grade teacher and I'm not sure what the ideal amount is. All right, homework. I don't do it. I don't believe in it. And here's why. There's a lot of research out there and I highly suggest that you fact check me, but do your research. There's a lot of research that shows homework is not beneficial and it just raises their affective filter, which is essentially their anxiety when it comes to academics. What it does do is let you know how involved the parents are. Okay, that's great. I personally just don't believe in it. I think kids need to be kids. I think they need to spend time with their family and have friends. So my policy in my classroom is I do not give nightly homework. They have a reading log that they complete 20 minutes of reading every night. They bring that in on Fridays. I give them spelling words for the week. I don't make them do anything with their spelling words. They have a test on Friday. That will show me if they worked on them or not. And then any work that we don't finish in class, after I've given them a sufficient amount of time, that becomes homework. So if you are focused in on tasks during the day, you don't have any homework. I think that's a good way to motivate them as well. Now, that being said, if there is an area where a kid is really struggling in and a parent needs resources to help reinforce at home, of course I will send something home with the parent. However, I just don't believe in nightly homework. That's my opinion. If you do it differently in your classroom, good on ya. I'm just saying that's how I feel. I'm not telling you you need to do something different than you're already doing. That's just where I stand. Case closed. Would you describe yourself as a tough teacher or understanding / fun teacher? By the way, love you too. So sweet, so sweet. I think I'm a happy medium. In my program, we learned the term like warm demander, where you're very firm, but you're very fair. I set really high expectations, but I invest a lot into the relationships I have with my kids because that's what's really important to me. If you have not seen the TED Talk, Every Child Needs a Champion, YouTube it right now. In there, she says, you know, kids don't learn from people they don't like. And I'm like, that is so true. So those relationships are super important. However, I am very firm. I have high expectations. My kids know it, and we get stuff done. You said in a way earlier video that you've played piano for a long time. Did you ever think about teaching music or piano? I briefly thought about it, but it's not where my heart lies. I mean, I love music and I want to keep it like a hobby. I didn't want my music to become my work. Music is a big part of me. However, I don't feel like I'm so naturally, and I don't feel like I'm so musically inclined that I have the ability to then teach other people, if that makes sense. So in short, no, I will not be teaching music or piano. What do you think are the things necessary to set a child that has a learning disability and anxiety up for success in the classroom? So of course this depends on the learning disability, and I am so new that I am learning this as well. I think the most important thing is for the teacher and the special ed teacher, if they do have an IEP, work really closely together, making sure that they're on the same page, because their job as a resource teacher is to reinforce and support the general education teacher. I think that is something that's really going to help the kids succeed. Another thing is making sure the teacher understands that learning disability and making sure that we are accommodating in the best ways that we know how. I suggest that teachers reach out to their special ed teachers. I do not have a special education credential, therefore I need your help. So I heavily rely on our special ed team to help me in situations like that. How do you keep everything organized, like lesson plans, worksheets, etc.? How do you stay motivated? And also, how do you stay motivated each day? I have one lesson plan book. Like I said earlier, I don't plan. I have a schedule for my day and I go from there, and then I have all my materials, right? So I have my planner. I have drawers in my classroom where I'm now organizing by subject, so I can pull from what I need throughout the day. And that's pretty much how things work organization-wise. You check out my classroom vlogs, I explain it a little bit better. And then how do I stay motivated each day? That is a great question. Two simple answers. Coffee and my kids. I'm there for the kids. I do it for them. I keep saying this, but those relationships are everything to me, so they're the ones that keep me going. Well, them and coffee. How much time did you spend in classrooms during college before student teaching? Not really any, because I was a kinesiology major. I did not study education. How do you organize the data you collect on your kids? This is a really good question, and again, I'm still working on it. This year I have like a grade book where everything is in one space. I really struggled with grading and keeping data last year, so that is where I'm keeping all of like graded stuff. Small group data collection is gonna look a little bit different. I'm hoping to purchase something from Teachers Pay Teachers to help me organize that piece a little bit better. There's some really good resources out there where you put the kid's name in and then it has the standard. As you think that they complete that standard, then you can kind of check it off. So I still struggle with keeping data, to be honest with you. When you were in your practicum / student teaching, how did you find your teaching style / confidence? Honestly, I think that's just kind of built into who you are as a person. The way you teach is kind of just the way you are. I think that it's really important to be yourself and be authentic, because kids can tell when you're not. And I think that's the best way to find your style. You know what works for you, you know what works for your brain, you know what works for you to function, so that kind of comes through in your teaching as well. I am really passionate about getting my kids engaged. My thing is I'm not excited to teach it. There's no way they're gonna be excited to learn it, so I do my best to be engaging, and I think you just learn as you go, but just being authentic and true to yourself is huge in finding your style. What's your classroom management style / system, especially in regard to behavior? So I do a couple of things in my classroom. I do team points and I do a classroom economy. So I'm really big on positive reinforcement. I don't like to hound the negative. My kids can purchase our Eagle tickets, are our classroom economy. They can purchase rewards with their Eagle tickets only at the beginning of the day. Anything from you can buy a Jolly Rancher to your shoes off in class, you can buy a fun share for the day, you can buy lunch with me. So they really get motivated by that. And then as far as like consequences go, I operate on a 3 strike, you're out. First strike is your warning. Second strike, we're gonna move you somewhere else in the classroom so you can be successful. By the 3rd time I've talked to you, I give them something called a think sheet, which is what our school uses. They reflect, it goes home, mom and dad sign it. Sometimes we call parents, and that's just the way it is. Again, my style for classroom management is warm demander, firm but fair. Any tips for new substitutes? Yes, I will put a link to my video somewhere up here. I made a whole video on tips for subs. How do you transition from survival mode to thriving mode in your first year of teaching? Is it possible? It's a great question. I truly don't know, because I don't think I ever felt like I was thriving. Actually, that's not true. You have moments, I think, where you're like, yeah, I got this, this is good. And then you go back to surviving. I feel like even in my 2nd year, I'm still kind of at that survival mode, and that's okay. I think just embrace it, embrace the crazy, and you will be fine. How do you teach quiet transitions in your class? I time my kids for truly everything. This is also another classroom management piece that I do whole class. If they are having a really chatty day or they cannot get focused, I just start timing on my phone. I'll put a timer up and hold it. And then however much time they take from me, I take from them either at the end of the day or before recess. So I do something similar with transitions. I don't time them and take it away from them, but we transition, I time them. I haven't done it yet this year because we haven't gotten there, but I did it last year. And then we graph as a class, how long did it take? And we have a goal, like 30 seconds, transition time, quiet, boom. And so we use that data to help teach it last year, and it worked really well because they had that visual. They're like, okay, we gotta get down to 30. And kids love competition. They love it. So hopefully that helps. Does your husband help you with any school-related stuff? Like, does he help you create classroom activities or anything like that? No. He's there for emotional support, but no, it's not really his jam. Every once in a while he'll come in and hang out with the kids, but that's about it. And that's okay. I mean, I don't ask for help in that area. Would you ever want to become a principal one day? No. I am seeing more this year what exactly principals have to deal with. And truly, that's not my journey. I like being in a classroom. I like building relationships with my kids. I could see maybe doing something in the district level further on in my career, but I don't think administration is not my jam. Sorry. Advice for someone trying to change careers completely at an older age to be an elementary school teacher. I get this question kind of a lot. People messaging me saying like, do you think it's too late? Here's my thing. I don't think it's ever too late. If it's something that you feel deep down in your core that you're meant to do it. Why wait? I mean, I don't care if you're 60 and you want to be a teacher. Like, I am all about what life is short. Do what makes you happy. I think that age is just a number. Who cares? I had people in my credential program that were in their 40s. Like, truly, who cares? So if it's gonna make you happy, do it. Where is your favorite place in the world? If you could teach in another country, where would it be? This is really hard because I've done a lot of traveling. I think my favorite places are Italy is one of my favorite places. Wine country like Tuscany, Italy is incredible. Half the reason why we went there for our honeymoon. Chris had never been and I was dying to go back. Also, there is a place in Central America off the coast of Panama called Bocas del Toro. They are a bunch of islands and I had the most fun I think I've ever had in my life there. It was so beautiful. Google it. Google Isla Zapatilla. It's probably the most beautiful place I've ever been in my life. If I could teach in another country, probably some Spanish speaking country. That way I could just keep practicing my Spanish. Spain, maybe? What kind of dog did you get? We got an Australian Shepherd puppy and he's not here right now. He is getting his shots, his second round of shots. And he's amazing. He's so sweet. I'm obsessed with him. If you go back a video to my clothing haul, you'll get to meet him. Any advice for a first-year teacher who is also getting married? Girl, yeah. I just went through that. Here's the thing. Wedding planning isn't as stressful as the world makes it out to be. Ask for help. Delegate, and it will get done. I'm really good at separating school from my personal life, so I was able to turn my teacher brain off and get into wedding planning. My biggest advice would be ask for help and breathe, because everything will turn out beautiful. Even if there's hiccups on the big day, it's gonna be everything that you want, and just embrace it because it goes by so fast. Are you thinking about getting a master's degree in the future? If so, what kind of degree would you be interested in getting? Yes, I'm gonna start a master's program next fall. I'm not sure exactly what in. I really like the idea of curriculum and how curriculum is written, so maybe something around that. I don't know. What has been your biggest difference between being a first-year teacher and being a second-year teacher? Does it get easier? I truly feel like this year is harder for me than last year. I think it's just my group of kids, but I also think because it's your second year, you feel like you should have more of your stuff together, and in reality, you just don't. Maybe you do. I feel like I don't. I feel like it will get easier. It's just completely different. Every year you get a new group of kids with different challenges, and for me, it hasn't been easier. That being said, there are some things that are easier, right? I've seen the curriculum before. Sorry, my phone's dinging. I've seen the curriculum before. I know what I'm teaching. I know what struggles I had last year. So I'm able to tweak things based on that. So there are some things that are easier, but for whatever reason, for me, this year is feeling like not easy. What do you do to really get your kids to focus if you feel like they're drifting off? So if they're drifting off, their brain is not learning. So we do a lot of brain breaks in my classroom, and there's a lot of different things you can do. Go Noodle is a website. Yoga, I literally just have them stand up and stretch. We go outside, we run a lap, we come back in. A lot of different things you can do, especially the younger kids. Their attention span is like 10 minutes. So you gotta keep it moving, you gotta get them up, you gotta have them just moving. I'm a big proponent for movement in the classroom, so I do a lot of things like that to make sure that they're awake. What colleges did you go to and how long did it take you to get certified? So for my undergrad, I went to San Diego State University. What up, Aztecs? If you're out there, leave a comment down below. And then for my credential program, I went to CSU Sacramento, and I did a 3-semester program at Sac State. That is CSU Sacramento. And so that program took me a year and a half. What is your favorite school lunch? That's a really good question. I'm actually gonna be filming a meal prep video and like teacher meal video. Let me know if that's something you're interested in down below. I have all sorts of different stuff. Chicken, salads, mainly that. Guess who just got home? Hi. This is Trigger. Someone asked in the questions, how is your puppy doing? He's so big. Look how big he is. Oh, he's 12 weeks old and he's an Australian Shepherd and he's so cute. Are you a good boy? Are you a good boy? Oh. I'm already cringing at the puppy voice. Everyone has the most obnoxious puppy voices. Huh. All right, I think we're about towards the end. Let's see, a lot of these are repeated. Honestly, what is your hair care routine? I'm in love with it. Well, let's see, I dye it once every 6 months. I wash it twice a week. I don't have a hair care routine. I don't do masks. I don't do anything other than what I just said. So, I don't know. Are we going to get a house tour soon? I'm thinking no, maybe eventually, but there's so much we want to do. It's pretty much a fixer-upper, so there's a lot we want to do before I'd feel confident and comfortable like sharing it with you guys. And it's also like a really personal thing, and I don't know if I'm ready and willing to like open that part of my life up to the internet. But we'll see how things go. Did your family support your decision to be a teacher? Yes. I'm really sorry that your family doesn't, but your family's not living your life, you are. So do what makes you happy. There's other teachers and people out there that will support you in what you do. Do you have any tips for someone who's thinking of starting a YouTube channel? Just do it. Honestly, I thought about it for like 6 months before I just kind of started doing it. It's one of those things that you just gotta pick up a camera and start filming yourself. It's super weird in the beginning, but then you get used to talking to yourself. Like right now, my husband's outside this room and I'm already feeling uncomfortable because he's listening to me. But eventually you just get over that and you move on. I recommend it because you just build such a cool community, and like there's a ton of people now in your life that weren't there before that like support you, and it's just awesome. I have a few California related questions. In your mind, what are pros and cons to living in California? What is the best place to visit in California? And what is the best part about being an educator in California? Okay, well, I've been born and raised in California. I've lived here my whole life. Let's see, pros and cons to living in California. Pros, it's California. You have the mountains, the beach, you get snow, it's warm. I mean, you literally have every climate. Now, some people are gonna laugh, like we don't have crazy harsh winters and stuff. Where I am at, it doesn't snow, but where I am at, I can literally drive and go surf and then go snowboarding in the same day. So California, like recreationally, I think, in my opinion, is an incredible state to live in. The biggest cons to living in California, I think it's the obvious. It's super expensive to be here in comparison to maybe some other states. There are certain cities in California that are cheaper than others, but in general, it is a expensive place to live. Favorite place to visit in California? Oh my gosh, I feel like there's still so much of the state that I haven't seen. So I'm currently in Northern California. This is where I was born and raised, but I did go to school in Southern California. I think it depends on what you like to do. I prefer Northern California because I prefer mountains and hiking and things like that. If you prefer the beach, definitely go down south. San Diego is amazing. I really love like Mammoth Lake area in Central California. It's stunning. There's so many lakes and just like beautiful places to go. Big Sur is incredible. It's in more Southern California. Lake Tahoe is like my favorite place on earth. I'm only about an hour and a half from Lake Tahoe. It's like, it's incredible. I mean, San Francisco, there's so many places in California that you could go. The best part about being an educator in California, I mean, I don't really know how to answer that because I have nothing to compare it to. I've only ever taught in California, so I don't know how it differs from other places. Would you support someone that wanted to be a teacher? Some teachers are saying no, pick something else. I mean, I would never say that. I do it every day and I love it. I think it's important to do what you love. So if you don't have a passion for it, I would say no. If you do have a passion for it and you love kids and you want to make a difference in the world, then I would say absolutely. I would never tell somebody who wants to teach not to teach. How do you compensate for teacher's salary? I do have a second job that I work literally only 1 day a week, but it helps. I am married, so we have a second income, which also helps. And I have Teachers Pay Teachers account and YouTube, and I do other things like other side hustles where I can supplement that way. Okay. I'm gonna stop there. This video is gonna be like 40 minutes long if I keep going. I think I got to most of your questions. Again, if I didn't, leave it down below and I will get to it as soon as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You can join our beautiful little family that we've created here on YouTube. So thank you guys so much. I love you and I will see you in the next video. Bye.